Hi, I'm Sweet Sylvanians, and I make videos about Sylvanian families, also known as calico critters. And today I will be making a video about the figures, sets, and items on my wish list. The idea to do this was suggested by a viewer, and I thought others could be interested too. So I've split this up into three main sections. These are figures, playsets, and items. And most of the things I'll be showing are older, just because that's the era of Sylvanians I really love, but I do have another list of currently available sets that I want to buy and can talk about those separately. So starting with figures, I do own most of the families that I like, but there are still some I'm missing which are on my wish list. So firstly, the Nonohana or Wildflower Rabbits. This family are only available at the Grimpa theme park at the base of Mount Fuji in Japan and are one of the four location-exclusive Japanese rabbit families. These Nanohana rabbits have a lovely muted beige and pink colour scheme in their traditional style clothes, and I like their light peach coloured fur with a marking over their nose and mouth in the shape of Mount Fuji. The daughter and baby come in a few different sets, but I'd love to own the full family in the classic version. Next on my wish list are the old style sleeping babies. These were available for just a few years from the mid 2000s to early 2010s and a little earlier in Japan. I'm lucky to have quite a few of these already, but there are more I'd like to get. For instance, these hazelnut dormice and the cottontail rabbit, and the walnut squirrel and Harvey grey cat babies too. These are just fun to have in setups with a pram or one of the many baby cribs. I also like these Seabreeze rabbit newborn triplets. They're also from a location exclusive rabbit family in the city of Yokohama, but these triplets in particular are quite uncommon now, as they're only available for a short time in November 2020 if you spent a certain amount on Sylvanians at particular stores. I find the newborn babies impossible to resist, but these just don't become available that much or are silly prices. In comparison, the two sets of bakery babies are fairly easy to get, though still exclusive to Japan at various pop-up events or on the official store. There's the set with just 3 babies, which was the one initially released, and then this set of 7 featuring more babies in the same uniform but different colours. I love how each of these come with a bread bun which matches them too. I think these would be great as little mascots in my Watermill Bakery or the older vintage bakery. Then quickly, these figures are also ones I'd like to own, but aren't as high of a priority for me. So the Whiskers Calico Cats and the Beeman Ginger Cats are both lovely families. I'm waiting to see some come up on second-hand sites for a good price. And these embroidery pairs, which I'm hopeful will be released in the UK soon, particularly for that Fennec Fox brother in dungarees with a mushroom embroidery. So next, on to playsets. This is probably the biggest section on my wish list, as there have been lots of fun ones over the years. I really like the Misty Forest series, and recently Sylvanian Family seems to have been drawing inspiration from it. I really like the nature theme that we saw in the early 90s, with things like the tomato swing, which I do own, and the mushroom house, which I'd love to own. I like how whimsical this is, with the beanstalk on the left, and that adorable bed shaped like a walnut. Unfortunately, this rarely appears on second-hand sites, and it tends to be quite expensive or sells quickly when it is available. It would look great in my Misty Forest shelf area, as I want something taller to go here too. And the other Misty Forest item I really enjoy is this tree stump from the 2010s. It's slightly more vibrant in colour than the mushroom house, but also has a little walnut bed and a fairy with an orange hat and wand. Sadly, this is tricky to find too. The Toymakers set had a UK only release in 2011 and features a Mulberry Raccoon figure called Edward. He has a little desk with tools and toys which have been made or are in the process of being built, like this doll's house with a separate roof. I'd like this to go along with my 2 toy shops, or to create a workshop like this Sylvanian blogger did. There was a professional series released in Japan in 2006, which had various adult Sylvanians in their workplaces. This clinic set is my favourite of them, and it comes with a Slidell Fox nurse with some medical accessories. I like that this is smaller than most of the hospital buildings, and that it could be used as an optician's or pharmacy or a dentist too. This Playtime with Father set was part of the Family Life in Sylvania range by Flair. It goes with the Playtime with Mother set, which I do own from my childhood. So this is partly because I want to finally complete my Beagle family, Also because the toy trains in Shrek are adorable, and it reminds me of my granddad who had model trains. Another series from the Flow range I love is the Tailbury Dogs at Home sets, in particular the two containing Grandfather Roland Tailbury and Grandmother Jacqueline Tailbury. These were released in the UK in 2009. The miniature putting green for Roland to play golf on is completely unique, and it's a shame that it was only available in this set. And Jacqueline's knitting is a clever little piece that looks realistic in her hands. I like that she also comes with more balls of wool, a sewing box and biscuits, including pink wafers which I actually associate with my own grandma. I occasionally see this set available, but it's rarely complete, with usually some of the small items missing. The Sanrio and Sylvanian Families collaboration was a wonderful combination of two well-known companies, and I was in awe when this was first released back in February of last year. There's 5 of the main Sanrio characters, or 6 if you count Kiki and Lala of Little Twin Stars separately, and these were turned into costumes and accessories for the babies. This sold out very quickly and is now close to £200 on reseller sites, which I just cannot justify, but the detail in these figures is wonderful. In a similar vein, the collaboration with the French macaroon brand Ladurée is another highly sought after and expensive set. The pastel colours in this are gorgeous, and Sylvanian size branded boxes, bags, and menus are a lovely inclusion. Logically, I know that almost all these items are recolours of existing pieces, and only the figures' outfits are unusual, but I would still love to own this. And my final section is one I've called items, so smaller furniture sets or accessories which didn't come with figures. This meet and green set is technically called the bookshop, but I definitely think of it more like a book and stationery shop, because as well as the books, it comes with some teeny tiny pens and pencils and similar items. The mint colour is really pretty, and I like that everything is neatly in a specific place. I would love to put this in a department store or expand the toy shops to sell these items too. The school watching set is a slightly random one. It was released in 1998 as part of the school range and has lots of items to be used in a children's science lesson, such as a sunflower in various stages of growth, a tiny microscope, and a bug box. The strangest pieces are a turtle and crayfish with a tank to keep them in. I really like the unusual items in here, which could go in my campground area or school. I have always wanted an official Sylvanian Families coffee shop, but they haven't made one yet. I do have the Blackcurrant Cafe, which serves coffee in my collection, though I'm not sure how good it is as it comes out of the same soft drink machine that dispenses juice. But this set was released in Japan as a specialty coffee set. It comes with lots of cups and accessories for a variety of ways to make coffee. I like the old style manual coffee grinder and silver mocha pot, and the yellow pieces, which I think is meant to be a pour over pot. I'd love a more modern machine too if Sylvanian Families wanted to make one, but could do a lovely setup with these pieces in the interim. And finally, another Japan only release with this outdoor food court. This is like a cafe in a park style set for the babies. I like that this has a more natural look with the tree coming out of the table, but it's still fun with the individually designed chairs and apples to be pushed off the lower branches. So that brings me to the end of my sections and the end of my current wish list of harder to find items. I'd love to know what's on your Sylvanian Families wish lists and if we have any similarities, or if you own any of these items, especially if you've shown them in a video, or even more so if you'd be willing to sell them. But thank you for watching until the end. If you like Sylvanian Families content, then subscribe to my channel as I post unboxings, news, and other videos every week.